12. Hello, everybody. Today is May 24th, 2017, and I'm just positioning myself, right? Today is May 24th, 2017. I just said that. It is my 1 year and 12th day. So there's been a little bit of stretch of time between this video and the last video, which tells me that either I've been very, very busy or my life has had little to no stress in it, which I'm not sure if either one of those is true. But I actually have a couple things that I wrote down on my piece of paper here to talk about. So it's actually a little bit of content to this. This may actually be informative. Recently, I have found that I am forgetting the present. Now, that's not to say I have Alzheimer's, okay? But I am forgetting who I am in the present moment. And what I mean by that is, and I'm forgetting the present and I'm stuck in the past. Okay, remembering the past or stuck in the past and forgetting the present. And what I mean by that is, this week I've had a number of teleconference calls at work. Of course, I work from home most of the time. It doesn't mean I'm a homemaker, but, and so I've not really had a whole lot of time to do some of the things that I normally would do, like on my breaks and whatnot, because I've been busy. I've got a lot of work to do. But I've been talking a lot and not a whole lot of seeing myself. Okay, so it's like, imagine living in a world without mirrors, no reflections. You can only see, obviously I have fingernails, but, your voice, again, my voice, the voice that I'm using now, is the voice that I've pretty much used all my life. There was a period of time, if you watch some of the YouTube videos in the first year, I tried to speak a little more with a feminine voice because I thought it made me sound, more feminine, which it kind of does, but at the same time, it's kind of an act. So I don't do it all the time, or most of the time. But, the emotions are still there. It's just, how do you voice them? What's the output? Anyway, so in this voice and in this demeanor and whatnot, again, I forget that I've transitioned. Does that make any sense? And, or that I'm living as a woman or whatever. And, there are periods of time during the day recently where I just don't even think about it. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that means I've reached a new plateau. I don't know. But then it's like, okay, I got to do this, whatever. And I go to the bathroom and I pass the mirror and I look at myself and I'm like, oh yeah, I transitioned, I look like I'm a woman now. I mean, knock on wood, and maybe I'm fooling myself, but this is my mode. This is my MO. This is how I talk to people. I interface. I'm a female, even though maybe I sound more masculine than I mean to. But, I have never been, and I see my voice is going down now because I'm thinking about it. I have never been the aggressive, angry, which male, not to say all men are that way, and we'll get into that later. But again, it's like I'm stuck in that past and then I forget the present. And then I'm pleasantly surprised. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, wow, you're looking really, really good. Yesterday, for example, I cut the grass. I did some yard work, cut down some trees, trimmed the hedges, and I'm wearing my bathing suit. For the second time out in public, and I wore my house skirt, just to protect my legs and whatnot. But I'm wearing, the top is the swimsuit, and it has the molded breast shelf and whatever. And so I'm like a woman outside more. I have the padded whatever. And again, it's like, this is my way of interacting with the world. And so I've been trying to remind myself as a positive, yes, you have transitioned. And yes, Take a moment and, but maybe as we know, life goes on. There's challenges even after you transition. Life doesn't stop. So there's that, and it's been happening quite a bit. Like I said, it's like I don't know if I get used to this, and then it's like it's not a big deal anymore, which would be like totally, totally crazy and insane to me 3 or 4 years ago, living as a male, going, one day I want to transition, one day I want to transition. The second thing is emotions. Today, especially, this is more, I think, a comment on the hormones and where we're at here after year one. And everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different timing and whatnot, but I'm talking about emotionally up here and in my head, my brain. Something happened today at work where, something that really wasn't my fault. It wasn't something I normally do, and nobody yelled at me for it. No one made me feel bad. But internally, I made myself feel bad, and I felt like, a 4 or 5-year-old who gets caught doing something they didn't really know was wrong, and maybe the parent, punishes them in some way, slaps them, or you can't have a cookie, or whatever, to discipline them, and you feel kind of like, oh, I did something wrong. And that's the way I felt 2 hours ago, and here I am, a 45-year-old person. I was a 45-year-old woman. Here I am, a 45-year-old woman, and it's like I'm crying as if I was 7 years old, and I couldn't stop crying. I felt guilt and frustration and sadness, and oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job because I didn't do this. And like I said, in reality, the rational mind is, no, you didn't do anything wrong. You were doing something for the first time, calm, But again, that emotion, even now, I could start crying, and just and it makes me go, my goodness, how do cis girls, how do women function? If this is any indication, my hat is all, I tip my hat to them, because it is such a challenge. If this is normal, I can't tell you what is normal because I'm not a cis girl. I don't know normal. So that's kind of something else I've been thinking of. And the other thing that is really kind of on the back burner, and I haven't really thought this through, but recently I have distanced myself somewhat from the transgender community. I really found myself, I started to get really upset at, how closely intertwined transgender and homosexuality is, even though two different things. But it really started to bother me that there's very little out there for a heterosexual trans woman. Okay. In my position, I'm not gay. I don't consider myself gay. I don't want to hang out with lesbians. No offense to any lesbians out there, but I don't want to hang out with you. And I don't want to go to the drag show, and I don't want to go to the gay bar, and I don't want to go to play and watch. What set it off was I kept on getting these like emails and ads on Facebook, and come to the drag volleyball game, or drag poker, or gay this or whatever. And I found myself saying, call me crazy, but I want a normal life if I can. And normal, of course, my friend Julie would say, there's no such thing as normal. And she's absolutely right. But you know what I mean? I want to have problems like, the grocery store didn't have my milk this week, or my daughter doesn't want to clean her room. I want to have normal problems, and I feel like I've come a long way towards getting to where I am. And so I want my life to be kind of smooth. Now, that doesn't mean I don't care for someone who might be a couple steps behind me, or I'm not looking to get advice from someone who's a couple steps ahead of me. But I don't want to be, I don't want to, like I said, I'm tired of because I'm a trans woman getting associated with being gay, and it's like, the only analogy I can think of is, so many years ago, there was an argument for and against mainstreaming kids with special needs. Do you include a child who has autism or a behavioral issue in the classroom, or do you treat them separately? And you could have arguments for or against. If they're in the room, they get included, the mainstreaming, they're treated just like everybody else. But then the flip side of that, the con is that they're not getting the special attention that they need to survive and get the skills that they need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, like I said, I feel the need to distance myself somewhat from the community and to distance myself somewhat from, it used to be on Facebook, you would get all these friend requests because you're a friend of a friend of a friend of some friend. And I found myself getting these, and it's probably automatically, hang on, I got to wet my whistle. It's probably generated automatically by Facebook. But, I'm not interested in being Facebook friends with someone in Australia. Me living in the United States, I don't care. I mean, my life is too busy and complex as it is. I have a, 10-year-old daughter who's my life right now. So I don't want to be friends of friends of friends of friends of friends of friends of friends. Now, again, not to turn away someone who needs help, but I feel somewhat like it's somewhat of an echo chamber, If all I do is surround myself with trans women or allies of trans women, I'm not going to experience normal life. Sorry, Julie. I'm not going to experience normal life. I'm going to just be in this echo chamber of trans issues. And, life is more than that. And so again, what I've done to supplement that is I'm doing other things. I'm, actively involved with my daughter. We're learning how to polka, and I'm trying to be a little more active in learning German. Stuff for me, getting active in the German American Club across the river and doing things. I've even looked at, I used to be a big Warhammer 40K player, and looking at that, things that I don't necessarily want to go into a money pit, like Warhammer 40K is plastic crack. I don't want to go into a money pit, but I want more to my life than, I think what I feel like is being offered to me. Like, come to the drag, and this is no joke. It was volleyball, okay? And it was something like, come and see wigs and heels in the sand, And it's like, that's so not what I want to do right now. And in some regards, like on my Facebook feed, the whole left side, is all these ads for gay this and pornography, sort of, and questioning groups and singles groups. And again, I'm not interested in that. And I almost wish, I would hate to be a member of any group that would have me as a member, but, I just wish there was a a way of integrating where I am right now into the world. And maybe that's the kind of thing where you do pick up a hobby or you do something. At the same time, I have to be here for my daughter, as well as I need to let my daughter have her own degree of freedom, as well as, I have to take care of the day-to-day things like my work and my job. And so, like I said, I think there are a lot of kind of issues going on right now. And I think these are definitely like year 2 issues. So, If anyone has any feedback, I'm open to suggestions or whatnot. As always, good luck. I'm out of time. So I will see you later. Bye. Good luck.